One. Come on, boys. Right. Thursday evening, Brisbane, Australia. You listen to Radio FM88 Australia. It's broadcasting live on the internet through your app, but also for our local listeners, free to air, and simulcast here on Facebook. You can tune into Radio FM88 Australia or Facebook Radio FM88 Australia. And naturally enough, our co-host is in the UK, and our guest today is from the United States. And looking forward to it because we've been sitting off here having a chat. It's a good evening and good morning to everybody. Back to you, Andrena.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Dreaming the New Dream. And today is the 2nd of November, 2023. And I'd like to welcome Ismael Perez onto our show today. So welcome and thank you for coming and being here at a very unearthly hour for yourself. So I really honor and acknowledge that you've taken the time out because of the time zones. So happy birthday to you, for yesterday. One thing I wanted to ask was on some of the start of your videos, it looks like you've got the EE system running across the screen. So I don't know if that's the case, but are you aware of the EE system?
I am aware of that system, yes.
Yeah, is that part of the startup of your... because I see the lines and the colors going across, because I've experienced the EE system. So I wondered, had you taken a portion of that before you start the program?
No. That's actually something that my editor came up with to start the show. He did that on his computer. It's totally separate from the actual energetic healing systems known as the EE systems.
Yeah, because I recognize it's very similar.
Very
and here in
similar.
Glastonbury, there's a group of us who are doing our best to get a center set up here to have the EE system. So that's out on the airwaves. So we would love to have one in the heart chakra, if you like. Right, okay, swiftly moving on from that, but I just wanted to ask you that. You're really a man on a mission, and I think, gosh, you've done so much. Have you completed your mission, or are you halfway through your mission? What are your thoughts on that?
I think I am still in the beginning stages of my mission. Perhaps just touching the surface. I do have another book that will be a sequel to my current book, Our Cosmic Origin. So I think that I'm still new in my mission and that there's more that I'm going to be doing.
Gosh. Right. So for people that don't, I know a lot of people I know are very aware of you and what you do out there, which is fantastic. But would you like to share sort of in a nutshell, because I know there's so much I'd like to cover, and I mean we could go off on so many tangents. So can we start at the very beginning? Where were you born? And I know you've had quite a childhood, but all the steps that have brought you to this where we are now, really.
All right, so my soul originated in Lyra on a planet called Avion, but if you're referring to my physical birth here as a human being, I was actually born in a city called Guadalajara. That's in Mexico, in a state, Jalisco. That's where my parents met. Both my parents are immigrants. My father is an immigrant from Spain and part Israeli. And then my mother is an immigrant from Spain, and she's also part French. But they met at the university in Guadalajara, Mexico. I was born, was brought to the States when I was 5 to pretty much safeguard me from my grandfather, as I revealed earlier in my YouTube live. My grandfather wanted to groom me into the family business, but it wasn't for me because it wasn't in alignment with my heart and my beliefs. And so my grandmother and my aunts and my mom thought it was best to pretty much raise me away from him And that's the reason why I ended up in the States as a 5-year-old kid. Now, as a kid, I've always felt different. I've always felt like this wasn't home. And I'm sure that there's a lot of people out
Yeah.
there that felt the same way that I felt. They
Definitely.
felt like this is a strange reality. What's wrong with the humans on this planet? Everything's so backward here. So it was a matter of adjusting for me as a kid, trying to adapt to this different type of world that just wasn't making sense to me. The reason I'm saying it wasn't making sense is because as a kid, I was still connected to my gifts, which is telepathy. I was still in tune with the forces of nature, Mother Earth. I was able to read people's thoughts, and I thought that was normal. Come to find out that nobody else was able to do that. So that's when I knew I was different. So I almost felt like my real parents, wherever they were, from whatever planet they came from, just kind of dropped me off on this planet without giving me a warning or anything.
That's what we say. That's what we say.
Wheels, at least. I didn't even get training wheels, right? I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So, I was forced to, unfortunately, due to my religious upbringing, I was forced to suppress these abilities and this inner knowing. And it wasn't until I was about 20 when I started receiving these abilities again through meditation. And ever since then, I've been on this journey of not only understanding more about myself and knowing where I came from and my mission and purpose, but also understanding the truth about reality, the truth about the cosmos, the truth about our galactic and interstellar family and cosmic family of light that exist everywhere throughout the multiverse. And yes, there are more than one universes. um, you know, you have people saying the Earth is flat. There is no stars. There are no galaxies. Everything is in the dome. We're it. Everything else is empty. And then you still have people who believe that there's only one universe, but I'm here to break the iceberg. The cosmos is bigger than what we've been taught.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's a quick summary of my background.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I know I saw on one of your shows, and I couldn't find it again after, where you were talking about DNA, our 12 strands, 24, 48, junk, or as they label junk DNA and what have you. And I got to the bit where you talked about the crystals in your crown chakra. So I just wondered, would you like to share a little bit of the information regarding our DNA and the many strands that we have?
Sure. So the original human race was made with 12 strands, but with the capacity and potential to evolve 144, because each strand has also 12 substrands. So 12 times 12 is 144. And due to a skirmish that took place when, the negative AETs, you could call them, fallen angels, when they took over the affairs of our world, when they won that round against the forces of light, the Emerald Order, and I could always explain who they are, but when they won that round during the days of Atlantis, what they did is they feared our power. They knew that we would exceed and evolve beyond their capacity and power, that we would ultimately supersede them. And so this negative alien race that invaded us during those days decided to genetically downgrade us by admixing our DNA with primitives. So back then there was two types of existing humans. We had the galactic, full-functioning 12-strand DNA immortal race, and then we also had the evolving Lemur types, which we call today the Homo erectus and Homo the hominids, the primitives, right? So we had those two types of existing people. Not to mention, we also had all kinds of types of extraterrestrials that came and went. And at one point, they all lived and shared this planet in harmony. Until, of course, the negative extraterrestrials came and decided to pretty much downgrade us and tweak with our genetics. And that's what ended up happening. But there's more than just 12 strands potential. Some of the star seeds that are down here, celestials, have actually 24 strands of DNA. We come with, everyone's different. Some of us have 36 strands, and then a very few of us have 48 strands dormant, that are laying dormant, meaning that that's their potential. So the reason that is because not all star seeds are Pleiadians, which come from the 5th dimension, and not all star seeds are Sirians, which come from the 6th dimension, or Andromedans, which come from the 7th dimension, or Orions, which come from the 8th dimension, or Arcturians, which come from the 9th dimension, or Lyrans, Vegans, and Avions, which come from the 10, 11, and then ultimately Aramatena, which is the 12th dimension. So what I'm trying to say is that those beings that come from the higher dimensions are the ones that come with these extra strands of DNA beyond the 12. So that's why there's, all kinds of different star seeds on the planet right now with different potential capacities, depending on where they came from, which dimension they came from.
And what about the crystals in the crown? Because I couldn't find the link. And I mean, in fair play, I mean, I think you put something up every other day. I mean, you've got many followers and many. So so that caught my attention, was about the crystals in the crown chakra.
Well, there is scientific evidence that our pineal gland has crystals in it. They call it the piezoelectric effect. They've done many studies that when our pineal gland becomes active again, it's due to the activation of the crystals that exist within our pineal gland, and those crystals are very similar to how the quantum computers work, which means that we ourselves are a living organic quantum computer that is asleep at this time, not knowing our full capacity. Once we activate those crystals in our pineal gland, which correspond to the pituitary gland up here, which is also the crown chakra, then we begin to open up our you could say, ourselves to the higher dimensions, allowing different higher aspects of ourselves. Some call it the higher self, the Christ self, the Buddha self. It is that aspect of ourself that is immortal, that has always been immortal, and it can never be destroyed because it's always existed. It's eternal. So when we activate those crystals, we activate those chakras, we begin to connect with those versions of ourselves that operate from these higher realities, whether you come from the 5th dimension, 6, 7, 8, 9, all the way to the 12. Now, the crystal children are those that are coming directly from the 12th dimension, by the way. 10, 11, and 12. Those are known as the crystal children. They're already coming in fully embodied in their abilities. They call them super psychics. These children are little, but they have abilities that we would consider supernatural. So, and of course, the society always tries to dumb them down by, giving them vaccinations and medications and all that stuff. But it's not going to suppress their abilities,
No, that's right, which is brilliant. So any tips then for people to reawakening more of themselves? To be more fully of who they are, because obviously we're all, there's different aspects of ourselves working in other dimensions, but opening up even more at this time now, because this is such a powerful time in history. We're on this change now, aren't we? So any tips that you think would help humanity or would help people, or for those that are more fully awakened and for those that are not?
Well, yes, actually. The best thing to do is to always be mindful and in the present, because when you give your attention away to the future, you are in a state of anxiety, worrying. When you are still dwelling on things in the past, what all you're doing is recreating that past in a vicious cycle. So the best thing to affect both the future and the past, because according to new evidence, quantum gravity research team, they've come to discover that our past is also affecting our future is also affecting our past, and everything in between. In other words, all time is affecting all time, all the time. That's how they put it. And it's hard to understand that it's all happening at once. But the best thing to collapse everything into a positive timeline for optimal life, for how can I say it? In order to live in your power, you have to have control of your mind. You have to be mindful in the presence, and treat your mind the way you would treat your body, in a sense where you wouldn't feed your body any poisons, right? You would only feed your body nutrients. So in like manner, you have to be very careful with what you read, with what you watch, because all of that affects your subconscious mind. And it's important to know that whatever your subconscious mind believes, it's what is going to co-create your reality. And the best way to rewire our mind, and the best way to um, have absolute control of our circumstances, is by being in the presence. Because when you're in the presence, that's when you are co-creating with source. That's when you are affecting your future and your past accordingly to your will. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah,
Schrodinger's cat. Yeah.
It's hard to do. It's hard to do because we have thousands and thousands of thoughts. I think they say about 80 thoughts a day, 80,000 thoughts that run through.
Only 80?
No, 80,000. And so I would say that more than half of those thoughts are unwanted thoughts, negative thoughts, or other thoughts that we're picking up on. And yes, because our mind is not just locked inside the skull, our mind is connected to the field of intelligence, which is all around us, the ethers. Sometimes we pick up on other people's thoughts. And so that's why we have to practice mindfulness, so that we could have absolute control of what we choose to think. And the more we do that, the more we are creating a positive future. And even if we had a negative past, believe it or not, when you are in that present, that eternal now, in the moment, you're actually changing the negative past, believe it or not. And it's all coming from quantum research study. Everything is connected. Really, the future and the past are really just one and the same.
Yeah, totally. I'm with you. There's been a lot of talk about solar flash, and there's just been lots of different dates, and it keeps changing. So what are your thoughts on the solar flash that's or the big shift that's about to happen?
Well, it's happened many of times in the past. It happens every 12,000 years, I believe. It's part of a cycle known as a Platonic year, where our solar system revolves around its parent sun. In our case, our parent sun is known as Alcyon, which is the central sun of the Pleiades. So our sun is the eighth missing star that is connected with the seven sisters, and all their minor innumerable stars, of course. But so the solar flash is the catalyst that ends the age of darkness and catapults our world into the age of light, or what we call heaven on earth, or the golden age. And it has been recorded, according to the Akashic records, according to ancient manuscripts, that these phases, these cycles exist. And it happens every time our solar system is once again aligned with the galactic equator, or what we call the central sun. So it's an event that takes place, and it is believed that we are once again at that, juncture where we are getting ready to experience the age of love and light here on Earth, or the golden era.
Mm.
So the solar flash is going to be the trigger point that is going to shift the collective reality into this new age, the age of Aquarius, which is already here. According to the Mayan calendar, uh, it ends in 2024. So 2024 is the equivalent of 2012.
Mm.
And so, we've been using the Gregorian calendar, which is inaccurate. It's not aligned with the natural timekeeping systems of the cycles of the universe. So that's why we're 12 years behind. And so I've always believed that 2024 was going to be the year of the shift. But then we have to also incorporate the fact that there is this timeline war that has been taking place from the future between us in our full capacity as divine superhuman beings, multidimensionals, and artificial intelligence, which is the artificial intelligence that we are currently developing, but in the future it becomes super advanced. It becomes super sentient or very powerful. And so there is a war taking place simultaneously to the present. And the reason why I know that we won that war is because we're still here. We haven't erased. We're still here talking right now. That's how I know we won that war. But
Yeah.
due to the timeline war, there is this thing called the Mandela effect, where things are constantly shifting. So, we are expecting the solar flash. We just don't know when it's going to happen, but we do know it's going to happen any day now.
Mm. Yeah, any day.
Any day now, yeah. It's always best to be ready. It's always best to be ready.
So, with all your information, because you're not, I don't mean this rudely, but you're never short of words. You've always got a flow happening. Have you got an open line to your galactics, giving you all the information and it just flows? Or because you've come in so gifted with your mission, you just know it all anyway?
It's the first. I am connected with my galactic self.
Mm.
So that's who I've been receiving transmissions pretty much my whole life, or in my galactic family. So I'm a Lyran, so I'm connected with the Lyran collective of planet Avalon, Avion, and Aramatena, and Vega, of course.
Right, and we're in Glastonbury here, which is the Isle of Avalon.
Oh, nice. Now, is it that you guys are located at the heart center of the Earth, heart chakra?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good to know. And see, now I learned something from you today.
Oh, well, there you go then. And we're on the Michael and Mary lines, the ley lines.
Oh, nice.
Nice. You have to come and visit one day if you come out of the country.
I will. That's the goal.
Right. So, can we sort of talk about critical mass and, the balance tipping? Because I think that's where we are now, isn't it, really? And I think like the power of the collective now, all coming together in groups, this is what's making the changes as I see it. So,
yes, we could say that the fact that people are waking up from the matrix, from the old programming, it's causing holes and leaks in the current reality construct. The paradigm is failing. And there is evidence for that. The electromagnetic field of the planet is declining, and it's been since 1987. That's when astronomers started figuring out that our solar system was entering a different zone in our galaxy that was full of light. They call it's the photon belt, pretty much. They couldn't describe it back then. So that event was called the harmonic convergence, and it's been happening for, about 40 years now, but it's going to come to a climax very soon. We're almost there. And so critical mass is the idea that there is this thing called the Maharishi effect, where it only takes about, I think, 5%, or is it 10%? It could be 10%. Once 10% of the world population snaps out of their hypnosis, the entire current reality paradigm collapses. And the original Earth that existed during the days of Atlantis, before this veil set in, which is what we call the simulation, that was created by the dark side to keep us locked into this reincarnational cycle, harvesting our loosh, whatever you want to call it. It's once we reach 10%, that entire reality comes to an end, and the real heaven on earth, or the original authentic earth that is all good, will be here. And that's what we call the golden age. So it's not like it's a new earth. It's the old earth that we left when we were plunged into the dark ages, when we're plunged into the lower densities. Once enough people wake up, it's going to cause a critical mass effect. And that's what critical mass is for the collective of the planet, because they ran a test, that every species is connected through a mind hive, organic mind hive. So there is a planetary consciousness that humanity operates under, where all of us are connected via telepathy, every human being. Well, those that have souls, not the NPCs, of course. So when enough of the souls, when enough people wake up, I think it's 10%, it causes a natural shift for everybody else.
And like you say, we're almost there, aren't we?
Oh yeah, we are. I would say we're about 97% in, 98% in. So yeah, we're at the finish line.
Yeah, fantastic. So you mentioned about New Earth, and we used to listen to I can't remember his name now, but they used to talk about inner Earth. So is there like a middle Earth as opposed to a New Earth, or a parallel Earth?
All of the above. Yes. Yes, there is, you could say, inner Earth civilizations, right? Within the Earth, there's so many of them.
Yeah.
The Earth inside, at the center, has an inner sun. So the civilizations that live in the inner Earth also have a sky, and they also have the light, which is the core of the Earth. X is an inner sun. They have beautiful structures down there. It's all natural, bio-living organic technology. And there's also parallel Earths, where different versions of reality, different timelines are taking place.
So with the parallel, because there's talk about Michael Jackson and Princess Diana and who else? There's quite a few that they're saying that are still alive in another, they've been taken from here and they're somewhere else.
I don't know if they were taken from here, but taken to a parallel Earth. But there are different alternative timelines where he never died, where Elvis is still alive, Marilyn Monroe is still alive, Michael Jackson is still alive, and everything in between, So my whole point is that there are rumors that JFK Jr. was actually taken off world for a while to keep him safe before he returned, and that he faked his death. And then there's also rumors that Marilyn Monroe faked her death. So we'll see. I guess when the disclosure takes place, we're going to find out what's real and what's not.
That's true.
Yeah.
Right. Your book. Shall we talk about your book? When did you start? How long did it take you to put together? And would you like to share more on that? Because I know you're on tour next weekend.
Mm-hmm. Well, it took me about 10 years to complete the manuscript. I only wrote when I felt inspired, when I felt motivated, when I felt the transmissions from my galactic self coming through. And then there was times where I would shut down and I wasn't getting any transmissions, and I would put away the manuscript for months. So that's why it took me 10 years, because it was on and off. But they told me, um, that in due time, when the collective was ready for this type of information, this next level disclosure, um, then your book would be complete. And they were right, So everything in divine timing. Um, so the whole time I was writing it, as I felt impressed and to write it and motivated, they kept telling me, if you write it, they will read it. And I was like, wow, reminds me of the Field of Dreams, right? If you build it,
Yeah.
so that's how I knew that this book was going to have a huge impact. And it's just the beginning, my goal is to get this information to as many people as possible so that we could hit critical mass. It's not just for the starseeds. It's also a book for those that are, considered Earth Terrans. So it's for everybody, everyone that has a soul. This book is dedicated to, and it's my contribution to humanity. Reminding us of our stellar and galactic origin, of our celestial descent, about the truth about our existence, that we're more than just physical beings, that we are etheric, we are astral, we are light, we are magnetic, we are electrical. I think it's time for humanity to really take their power back and really snap out of their hypnosis and realize how powerful they are. There's a quote that I would like to say, and that is, human beings on planet Earth are sleeping, or are their gods and goddesses in amnesia. And if they only knew how powerful they were and snapped out of their hypnosis, they would be able to do, great things throughout the universe. Because the entire cosmos is waiting for us to hatch. And I hate using the word hatch, but yes, we're kind of like, we're so powerful, but yet we're still unaware of how powerful we are. So the reason I say hatch is because it's almost like we're worms that are not worms. Yeah, before they become caterpillars. That's the word I'm looking. Not worms. Caterpillars that are in the cocoon phase and that are ready to blossom into butterflies. So Earthlings right now are in their cocoon phase. If they only knew how powerful they were, they would hatch and fly. I'm sorry, guys. It's middle of the night here, and it's okay.
Anyway, congratulations on being the best-selling author.
Thank you.
So how many books have you sold already?
I think over 35,000 or maybe 40,000 now have sold worldwide.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been truly an honor and a great feedback and journey for me to know that a lot of people are resonating with this material. So I'm excited, and that's what's making me want to write a sequel, because there's always more, of course. But just in this book alone, I mean, it's dense. You might want to read it more than once, just because there's so much information. It's not just galactic history. I mean, I incorporate ancient metaphysics, esotericism, and I incorporate it with cutting edge science, and of course galactic stuff, and revealing the 12 living universes, the organization of cosmos, and then Earth's place in relationship to the grand cosmic structure. So it's more than just galactic history. It's really a book for the times that we're living in. I believe that people that read it become activated. So yeah, I'm excited.
So you've already started on book 2.
I have. I have. No, third book. I'm sorry.
Oh, third. Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
my first book I wrote was like maybe I think 14, 15 years ago, but that book didn't do very well. It was called The Secret Government, and I'm trying to reprint it, but I first need to get a hold of the file before I could print it.
Right.
So I'm still
Understand.
searching for that.
So, with all your, because you do like so many shows, you do your own, don't you? Is it one every other day that you do on YouTube or on your own links?
I go live, I think, about 3 times a week right now. I've been doing that on my own YouTube channel, which is called The Real Ismael Perez.
Yeah.
Yeah, we call it that because, there's a lot of pirated fake channels that are stealing my content, my interviews, and they're fake. They're not me. So
Mm,
that's why I call myself The Real Ishmael Perez on
mm.
YouTube.
The real deal.
Yeah, the real deal, because I hate having copycats. It's not fun.
No.
They're taking all the people. Poor people.
Yeah.
They're trying to find me, and they think that's me, and then they follow them, and little do they know that they're following a fake account or a pirated channel.
Yeah. Well, I did mention to you that when, like a few years back, I tried to find you to contact you to see if you'd come on the show then. And I did it on Instagram, but because I put up a flyer about a hemp director that was coming on, I got taken off because he was been taken off YouTube and all sorts. So I got taken off. Then I got taken off of Facebook. But yeah, so trying to find yourself, and I had that many Ismael Perez's come up. It was unbelievable. And some, I messaged, would you be available to come on? Yes, I would love to. And then, reading a bit more into it, I realized they was not the real deal. So anyway, but here we are now. So I'm very blessed. So, yeah. So is there anything else you'd like to share? Because I know you're keeping going in the early hours. So is there anything you'd like to get across to humanity in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, my message is we come from the future. Starseeds come from the future. The future and the higher dimensions are one and the same. So we came from the future to alter the negative timeline and to win the war against artificial intelligence. And that's the reason why I'm here to gather 144,000, the Starseed nations, which are millions, over 70 million strong, adults all the way to the ages of, I would say, 80s. Some of the first waivers started coming in the 1940s. So some of them are still around, and of course, everything in between. And another thing I wanted to share is that I am going on a book tour for those that live in the States. I will be at the Disclosure Fest in Vegas at the Luxor Hotel on Saturday and Sunday. Sundays when I do my presentation and when I speak on the AI panel. And I'm also going to be participating on the Ascension panel that is going to be conducted by Deborah Gusti. And on the 14th of November, I'm heading to Salt Lake City, Utah. So if you guys want to come meet me in person, for those that live in Utah, go to Eventbrite. I
Jeff,
think it's.
Jeff will put it up again.
Would you? Yes, thank you. Go to the Eventbrite and make sure that you guys click your for your tickets. It's only $60. I'm sorry, $80, and that includes a signed book, a 2-hour lecture, questions and answers, and then of course a time, interactive time with me. I'm sorry, guys. I'm I'm running on fumes right now. Just to let everybody know, it's 2:40 something in the morning here in
AM.
California. All right, so here and then on the 16th of on the 16th of November, I'm going to be in Denver, Colorado. Yeah, normally this doesn't happen, but half of my brain is asleep right now. You have to excuse me, guys. 1 second. All right, so there it is. Okay. So on the 16th of November, I'm in Colorado, Denver, Colorado. And then on the 20th of November, I'm in St. Louis, Missouri. On the 28th, I'm going to be in Farmingdale. Is that New York? Excuse me, or Missouri?
Yep. New York.
New York, right? Okay, so Farmingdale, New York. Thank you. And then on the 4th of December, I'm going to be in Boca Raton, Florida, at the Energy Room, talking about the EE systems.
Is that Dr. Michaels?
Yeah. I met her actually. I met her at one of the conventions, one of the expos. She's
she was on our show last year. Brilliant. It was an hour and 40 minutes. Yeah, she's a lovely lady. Fantastic.
Yeah, she is. She's brilliant. And then Naples on the 6th of December. I'm going to be in Naples, Florida. So that's where I'm going to be, beginning the 11th of November. So, yeah. And not to mention, I will be at the Conscious Life Expo in February in LA. I'm going to be I'm going to be presenting, presenting a 2-hour presentation on our cosmic origin, structure of the cosmos, galactic cosmic history. And I believe that's it's called Deep into the Rabbit Hole or something like that. So I'll be at
down the rabbit hole.
Yes, something like that. Thank you.
Yeah.
So that's where I'll be.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So is this all sort of within like a few hours from where you are now, travel wise?
Los Angeles?
What? No, a lot of these places that you're traveling to.
No, they're actually. Well, I mean, I live in Los Angeles, so they're different states. So it's going to be about a 6-hour drive to go from one state to the next. Although I think from Missouri, I'm going to have to fly to New York because that would actually be like a 10, 11 hour drive. So I think I'd rather fly at that point. So yeah, I'm going to be starting from California, Nevada. I'm going to Utah, Colorado, Missouri, New York, and then I'm going to finish off in Florida.
And you enjoy traveling?
I do. It's tons of fun. I get to meet a lot of interesting people, especially the people that show up to my events. A lot of, they share their experiences with me. Some of them have been abducted. Some of them have implants, and I get all kinds of stories.
Oh, I bet.
A lot of interesting people out there.
That could be another book.
It could be with all of the stuff that people share with me, but I think, for most it's personal. So I don't know if I want to write about that.
I appreciate that. So nobody's approached you to do a film on your book yet?
Not yet, but I am open for that, because if we did a film based out of the information from my book, I think it would reach a whole lot of people. And at that point, we would have no other option but for disclosure. Everybody would demand disclosure.
Well, we put it out there for any film people that might be interested to get in touch with you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I think we ought to let you get to bed, because I know you're doing your best there. Is there anything you wanted to add, Jeff?
No, I think I do quite well, actually, because we talked off the air about Hollywood and its writer's strike. And of course, now we've seen the advent of all the different streaming services come forth, and they're all looking for a product. And I think yours has some merit, to be perfectly honest. It's just a matter of you have to watch how those Hollywood people operate. I remember our friend Bill Harrison, when he showed me the contract, he was lucky to get 3% of the total income, even though they would pay for his economy flights and his 3-star hotel and pickups. His managers in Hollywood were making all the money. That's the only issue we've got. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mind you, the Sound of Freedom is taken off, isn't it? That was done independently.
It was. Just to let you know, Jeffrey, you have a koala bear behind you.
Yeah. Yep.
Is he your pet? I'm just kidding.
He was.
Oh, he's a slept
No, we got him real. We have a koala center. It's less than a kilometre away. So we have 10,000 acres of a state forest, and so any of the bears get injured around the area, they go there for any veterinary role. So I usually take people from overseas into state. It's only a kilometre away. There they are, boom, boom. But out in the street, we do get wallabies and kangaroos because that's how close we are to the the forest. So,
yeah. Oh wow, that is Australia. Sounds like it.
That's right.
Nice.
But anyway, anything else? No, I think we're bloody fantastic, Ismael. I think it's fantastic, bloody brilliant.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And you're a real trooper to come on at this time of the morning. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's the way I see it is, I just honestly, I love doing interviews. So if I had to wait till middle of the night to do an interview, a radio interview, I will. It's part of my job, that's what I do. And it's okay, because I think I'm going to shut my alarm off. Otherwise, it's going to ring in about 3 hours at 6. So I'm just going to shut it off and probably sleep in till 8 or 9.
Yeah, have a lie.
Just a little more.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a link to buy the book. You go to.
Is it on your website to get the book, or is it through Amazon or somewhere?
You could get it through my website to get the new edition. Otherwise, if you go through Amazon, they're going to send you the old edition. You don't want that. Right. You want to get the new edition because it's been restructured, re-edited, so it reads clearly. And then I also added a new chapter. So if you go to ourcosmicorigin.com, you'll be able to order the new edition.
Okay, well, thank you once again. It's been an absolute delight and pleasure to have you on the show, and good luck with all what you're doing.
I appreciate that, guys.
And before we go,
day. Thank you, and yourself.
Before we go,
all right.
Here's your birthday poem.
My birthday what?
Poem. Carol's just finished her birthday poem.
Oh, that was nice of her.
So, do you want it read out, or can you read it yourself? We'll put it in the link anyway.
I don't have my glasses on, so it'd probably be better if you guys read it. I could barely see it. It says
belated happy mirth day. Here is a little verse for you. On 1/11/77 to recreate our earthly heaven, a cosmic quietly took place to help guide all the human race. For this was the chosen day of birth for a special soul to be sent to earth. His abilities soon began to show, though his family thought his gift should go. A priest was called who came at speed with holy water to do the deed. But holy water couldn't cure him, and their efforts didn't floor him, and Ismael Perez is he.
Wow. Wow, Carol, you are talented. Thank you so much for that. That was beautiful.
Yeah, she's our resident poet in Glastonbury, so there you go.
Wow.
Yeah. She's actually so great.
Well, thank you for sharing that with me.
A bit more, yeah. So anyway, we'll forward it on and put it together for you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you. Goodbye, everybody. Same time next week.
Bye-bye.
All right. Love you, Whitney.